Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and this is my second go around with a weekend review here on the Wasteland Reviewer channel, and we're going to be talking about the films that I streamed this week, some of the films that I got on Netflix DVD, some of those new episodes that I got to watch on the tube, and then also some things that I got to binge watch this week. And based off of the films that I got to watch on streaming, I got to check out Tall Girl on Netflix, which is kind of a light, easy to chew, kind of coming of age story about a young woman coming to grips with the fact that she's really tall, and she's 6'1". I'm 6'1", and I know some young women who are also my height, and how uncomfortable that can be, and insecure that could be. And this film is very simplistic, and also really just like, it feels like a Netflix movie. It's really straightforward and just like down the middle there, watchable enough to binge, like just throw on and stream, but like not something super complex that it's really going to grab your attention. It's fine. If you want a nice little fun time of a budding romantic comedy kind of thing, go check out Tall Girl. Now, I also watched The Chimera Strain on Amazon, and this film was an interesting little intense thriller that was like dystopian kind of thing, and I thought it was decently cool, and like it had a lot of potential, and I really appreciated the film for what it was, especially because it's like a small indie film. But honestly, go check it out. It's a fun little thriller kind of thing. Maybe fun's not the best word. It's kind of like intense, like as a good thriller should be, but it's a fine thriller. Go check it out. And then what I got to watch on Netflix DVD last Sunday, I got to watch White Boy Rick, and I remember missing that in theaters and really wanted to see Matthew McConaughey in that film, and he's great. He really sells it. The film is not what the trailers sell, and I feel like the trailers sell this like crazy black comedy that you get to see this young man like turn things around, and he's like an FBI informant. This is a dark, depressing movie. It really is, and it doesn't really build up to more than a run-of-the-mill kind of true life crime drama, but like it's like a sad, depressing movie around like every turn, and I'm just like, oh, this tone's very different than I expected. And so go in, if you're going to check it out, go into that knowing that. I think it might be streaming on one of the premium channels, probably, but I had it through my Netflix DVD. And then I saw Never Look Away, which was nominated for Best Cinematography. It was one of the big foreign language films of last year. It's this 3-hour, 10-minute German film about a young man who grows up as an artist, dealing with the fact that his aunt had mental illness and was killed during the Holocaust, and coming to blows with the scientist and the doctor who did that to her. And it really captured the life of an artist very well, and it's very dramatic. It is a beautifully shot film. I can definitely see why it got nominated for Best Cinematography. It is long. It didn't need to be 3 hours and 10 minutes, but if you're going to put the time in and really appreciate it, it is worth the journey throughout it. Some things that I got to watch on the tube this week, I watched the series premiere of Watchmen last Sunday, and I didn't quite know what to expect from the trailers. I'm like, this seems very different than Watchmen, and it is very different than Watchmen, the graphic novel and the film. But you could see the little things in it that might have built up to this world that they're in now. And it's really interesting. It has a lot of interesting ideas. Don Johnson was fantastic in this pilot episode. And it leaves you off shocked. And like, bam, hits you. And then you have Jeremy Irons playing Ozymandias, and making subtle hints to his previous life, because now he's just like this Man, was rich, and he lives in this mansion on his own, and he just kind of enjoys his life. It has this play, and it has a very interesting Watchman tinge to it. But this idea of cops having to have secret identities because to protect them and this Rorschach cult, it's interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing where the show goes. Bob's Burgers from this week is the fun Halloween episode every year, and Tina has some crazy things with a weird zombie piggy, and she can't sleep, and there's some crazy little hallucinations going on. And of course, Bob and Linda having some weird Halloween creepy stuff that is basically just long-term relationship issues. But that's why it's so funny. And of course, you get to see who the kids are for Halloween this year. And that's always a fun time. And then The Good Place, the 5th episode of the 4th season now. Great. I had high expectations after how last week's episode ended. And this was hilarious. It did so many great things, so many different things. It really built on some of the characters and gave some character, like Jason had some real moments in this episode, but Ted Danson steals the show again. And so's Derek. And Derek's hilarious, honestly, and the more and more they put him in the show, he has these crazy scenes, and this was a fantastic episode. All around for all the different characters had their moments, and I'm loving this season. I'm glad the quality hasn't dropped. Now, getting to what I binge watched, I finished Living with Yourself. God, they better make another season, because how that first season ends just leaves you hanging like that. But there's some parts in like the last episode or two that feel like, why are they just tacking on this subplot? But it does really come to blows, and it is a pretty satisfying climax. And then it leaves you on this cliffhanger being like, what's gonna happen next? Oh my god. And speaking of cliffhangers, I also got through the rest of Forever. I haven't seen such a unique, impressive show in a long time that each episode feels so ambitious. It kind of feels like The Good Place in the sense that each episode can feel so very different depending on which season of The Good Place you're watching, and it keeps reinventing itself and keeping things fresh episode to episode. That was this show too. And it's so quirky and weird, and there's this one seemingly unconnected episode that just hit so hard emotionally. I'm just like, damn, I did not expect this from the show. And the show leaves you open where it could be, like, it could have ended and you don't get to see what happens. But I am really, really, like, I hope that someday they'll bring this back and make another season, because I was sitting on the edge of my seat being like, what's coming next? And it just kind of there. But go check that out on Amazon. I love it. If I forgot to mention Living with Yourself, go check that out on Netflix. I watched all of Fosse Verdon this week on Hulu, that FX limited series about Bob Fosse and Gwen Verdon. And Sam Rockwell and Michelle Williams are amazing in this show. And there's a lot going on and a lot of layers going on, and sometimes the nonlinear storytelling towards the beginning of the show can be a little muddled. But as the show goes on, you just really dive deep into these two people who are so flawed, and their relationship is so toxic, but they feel so perfect for each other in the worst and best kinds of ways. And also how it incorporates all of the actual work of Bob Fosse, and you just like, I've just been wanting to listen to Cabaret in Chicago all week, honestly, and wanting to rewatch Cabaret in Chicago and all that jazz, and giving Lenny Bruce another watch as well. It's just like, it really gets you so engrossed in his work and his work process that you just appreciate what he did, and makes you want to go watch it and really enjoy it again. This is a great show, one of the best limited series I've seen in a long time. And then I binged Bojack. Oh my god, why is it only 8 episodes, and then I have to wait until January 31st for the other 8 episodes, and the show's done forever? God. And these 8 episodes just reinforce why this is one of the best television shows I've ever watched. I'm going to say it. This is up there. Bojack is amazing. Each episode is special and resonant, and not only in a story and characters, but from technical aspects, and they utilize that animation to be so adventurous with storytelling, and there's such crazy hijinks on some of the setup of some of these episodes, but it's so funny while being so tragic at the same time. And this last episode, it kind of, like, it doesn't even have Bojack in it, but he's so penetrating throughout the story of each of these subplots going on, and how it all threads together is masterclass storytelling. And I'm just like, this show is next level. And now I can't wait, because you finally get a gleam of hope that Bojack can be okay, but those last 8 episodes are gonna be intense, and just, I cannot wait. And then I started watching the second season of the Kominsky Method, and I'm 6 episodes in, I only have 2 left, and this show is so funny. It's just sassy comments from Michael Douglas and Alan Arkin all the time. And you know you're really enjoying life when you're watching a show and Alan Arkin's like, coming dawn, the light broke, and I was like an Egyptian obelisk. And I'm just like, I didn't need to know that about Alan Arkin's penis, but you know what? They said it. And it was hilarious, because it's Alan Arkin. Sassy old men doing sassy old things. But there's really some resonating things about this show. Like, it's not like top level kind of show, but it's hilarious and enjoyable enough to, like, breeze through the show, and enough poignance and dramatic heft to get you really engaged. And I really like the characters in this show, despite the fact that, like, Sandy's kind of a dick, honestly. But he has his moments, and you do care about him, want him to be happy, despite some of his behavior. And then Alan Arkin's just sassy old Alan Arkin, and he doesn't make the best choices, but the thing is, it's like you want to watch him along the way. And Paul Reiser's in it, gets added this season, and Jane Seymour gets added too. Love Jane Seymour. I'll watch Jane Seymour in anything. But I'm looking forward to finishing those last 2 episodes. But that's my weekend review. If there's anything in particular you want to hear a little bit more about or chat, leave a comment. Reach out and we'll chat about it. Because, I'm always down to talk about movies and TV shows and all kinds of media. I love to read, I love to watch movies, TV, play video games, all different kinds of things. So, thank you as always for tuning in, and I hope you guys keep enjoying this little week in review. But thank you as always for supporting your Wasteland reviewer.